Go, Rob.
Hey, I'm Rob from 10 Gauge.
I'm TJ from 10 Gauge.
I'm Neil from 10 Gauge, and you're watching the Break It Down show.
Yeah, 10 Gauge.
We got
features Tom, TJ Jennings, Rob Jewson, and Neil Felgate on guitar, vocals, and drums, respectively. Missing from our show today is Keiran Best, guitar player, and Gareth on bass. But this has already been enough of a party. So we're just going to get started here. I'll tell you, the connection, of course, was made from our good friend, the Wesinator, Wes Maebe, who's joining us as well. He's got a hard out in about 45 minutes. So we're going to maybe talk about the technical stuff while he's still on board, and then when he leaves, boy, we're gonna roast him. So in the meantime, look out for 10 Gauge. Their latest single is called "I'm Broken." It rocks hard like they do. Gents, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're all joining via satellite. Most of us not wearing pants. Most of us drinking, in spite of the fact that for me and Pete, it's 11 a.m. And that's the spirit.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Where that came from.
It's 7 o'clock where you guys are, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
And that is in and around North London, let's say.
Yeah.
So, I think we should probably just start by talking about the record. Tell us what you guys are up to, especially now that we're all in quarantine and you're not playing festivals and arenas places.
Yeah, I mean, myself, I've been using the time to sort of, catch up with family a bit, but music-wise, writing, sort of finishing off some other stuff, obviously playing a bit of guitar, trying to get a bit better. I don't know what the other guys have been up to. I know they've been working a lot. Neil's been doing loads of stuff, so, I mean, he's been working with Wes on loads of things. Don't know what you guys have been up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've still been working, so my job hasn't stopped. I'm not getting furloughed or anything like that. So yeah, I've still been busy doing that. Missing the music massively, just missing getting together with the guys, getting down the studio, and just live playing. That's what we do. We like to do best, and we're missing getting out there like all the artists out there. It's really hard for us, to be fair, but we try and do what we can at home, make it work. We've been doing bits individually just as a bit of fun. I've been doing a few bits with these guys with Lasso the Moon, which is pretty cool. So it's doing what we can. If things go back to normal, we can't wait for things to sort of get back to where we should be.
Yeah,
Totally, man.
When Rob is not singing, he actually saves people.
From are you a bouncer?
Firefighter.
Yeah.
Oh man, right on.
Yeah. So I work in London. So yeah, so that's where you keep us busy.
Yeah. Wow. Neil, how about you? You've been working a lot, huh? You've been playing?
Yeah. Well, apart from obviously doing our normal stuff with the 10 Gauge, I've been doing all the artwork, the press stuff, and trying to push it along whilst we can't do the rest of our normal stuff. So that's taken up a lot of the time. And then Lasso the Moon, I've been doing. Wes has kept us busy with so much. It's been brilliant because it's kept me down the studio, recording what I can. Like, give me some major challenges, as you can tell, and I try to do my best with it. So so it's just been non-stop for me. Plus my normal job that's been day jobs just keeps going. So yeah, it's been pretty mad, full on.
Yeah. What is it you do during the day? What keeps a drummer busy?
Well, basically I work for the police, so I do their vehicles. So basically, so part of their workshop. So yeah, that's my day job. And then every other job is just drums, music.
Yeah.
It's an addiction I can't get away from.
TJ, you take the lead when it comes to the songwriting, is that right?
Yeah. I pretty much write everything. from the guitar parts to lyrics, everything. Yeah.
So in recording your stuff, how do you talk to us about how you bring things to the band and how you kind of flesh things out and how you make it all work? And then, prior to bringing Wes in to commit it to tape.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it will all start with like me just having a little jam with initial ideas. Once I've got that, I'm lucky enough that I've got a system at home, Mac system, and that I'll record sort of like the bare bones of the ideas. I then send that across to Neil, who'll sort of get his little piece on it, and then send that across to the rest of the band, and they can sort of get their pieces down. I mean, I'm quite bad at transposing it across to everyone, and Keiran, the other guitarist, is really good at sort of breaking it down and sort of like getting the nitty gritty of the song across to everyone else. Once we've done that, obviously Wes steps in and tells me it's all wrong, a different way. But no, I mean, luckily all the other guys are so fantastic at what they do, and we're all very like-minded in where we want to go with the music. That they all sort of really grab onto it quite quickly. And once we hit the studio, once we've gone through it a few times, 3 or 4 times, the songs are pretty much ready to go and head to the studio, man. It's a cool process. It's something I didn't think I would get into. I always wanted to write songs. It almost happened by accident. About 10, 11 years ago, I started writing songs and just haven't stopped, really. It's a good way to obviously get emotions out. If you're feeling a certain way, you can put them into a song, which is pretty much why I started writing songs.
That's great. Wes, how do you capture these guys? Do you do a live take all at once? Do you talk about that process?
Pretty much. I mean, the first time we went into the studio together, we went to Mono Valley in Wales, and in the middle of nowhere, and it beautiful studio, which allowed us to track live. The last couple of tracks we did, so the new single that's going to drop soon, we recorded. I mean, we did it live because we had drum separate, bass separate, guitar separate, and I managed to. It's quite funny. There's a little room in that studio which is rented by another guy, but he wasn't working, so I managed to squeeze Rob into there. So we managed to get some guide vocals down. So it is a live
squatter.
Yeah, it is a live vibe. Sort of get the energy and get the guys looking at each other, and it is sort of an old school approach to recording still, which I like.
Yeah. So how about, let's talk about Neil, because he's got a lot of stuff going on. It looks like, from the looks of it, and it could be different when you record, but the pictures I saw on your website, you're playing a 7-piece kit with 3 toms across the top, 2 on the floor, but you got octobans and you got a gong tom and you got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Tell us about the challenges of recording Neil first, Wes, and then we'll go to you, Neil. Wes, tell us what a pain in the ass he is.
The first time we recorded, I mean, it took forever to build that fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll be set up in no time. Yeah, but 3 hours later, 7 million toms later. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. There's, like you said, there's the octobands, there's all the rack toms, there's all the floor toms. My usual mic technique doesn't work on Neil's kit because it's so big, and right where I would have a specific mic, this frigging china that's being bashed, like a trash can lid. So I can't do that. And you've got all these toms ringing whilst he's just playing a straight groove. So I think I remember on one song, I actually had to threaten him that I was going to start taking shit away if he didn't use it. So there's, in the middle of all this stuff, there's suddenly like a just because he's got it, but
Well, since we're going around, how about Rob? How many, do you give him passes for bells and whistles and stuff after his main take? Does he do a lot of harmonies on his own? And we'll get to you, Rob.
Oh, Rob is like full on. I mean, we got him to do a lot of fun stuff. I mean, we all jump in on BVs, drummer included.
All right.
And Rob is actually an amazing piano player. So on track on the EP, he's actually playing the piano. We played Hammond together. And he actually, since he's a fire marshal, he played the fire extinguisher on one track.
Really? You hit the fire extinguisher with a stick, Rob? What are you doing there?
No. He used one of my rings.
Yeah. That's like the old Marvin Gaye on the Coke bottle trick.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah.
We get charged for that. Did you actually take that from Mono?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I stole it.
Nice job, Wes. That's coming out of their advance. Rob, talk about your process. When you guys are tracking, you go into a different room. Of course, you want to isolate the vocals. What happens? Let's go back in the process, though. TJ shows up with a song.
Yeah.
Where do you pick up, and how do you deal with the fact that TJ's songs are, maybe not saying the same things you want to say?
Yeah, no, I get that. So, I joined 10 Gauge after these songs were already written. We've still got some new songs, which TJ is really good at giving us a little bit of artistic license to put our little. He's got full control of the song, but lets us put our little bits to it so we can kind of personalize it, make it work for me, because obviously my style of singing is slightly different to how TJ would sing it or vision it being sung. So he does give me that. But when I first joined 10 Gauge, which must have been 4 years ago, just over 4 years ago now, I sat down with TJ, and what we do is we talk about the song and what the song means to TJ, so I can then become part of that song, so I can understand the feeling of that song, which then helps me to sing it with more passion. So from my point of view, it was easy really for me because the songs were there. And I'm hoping in the future that when we're able to start getting back together again, like we can start sitting down and writing songs together as well, which would be a really cool introduction to 10 Gauge and seeing where that takes things as well. But yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Try and see through TJ's eyes, which believe me is scary place.
It's dark and twisty in there. Rob, when you joined the band, I'm sure that you brought, your aside from your vocal stylings, you probably did a fair bit of writing, especially since you also play. Did a fair bit of writing prior to joining the band. How much stylistically was your writing similar to what you're doing in 10 Gauge?
Well, I've got to be honest with you. I mean, it was almost love at first sight. So TJ was interviewing singers at the time, and I worked with his brother at the fire station, and that's how I got to know about TJ and 10 Gauge it is now. So I was looking to get back into another band because I'd been in cover bands. I have written my own stuff before and done stuff, but I'd been missing music. I hadn't done it for a few years. So I went to the interview, which was in the studios, and then I listened to the songs, and it was instantly had a connection with it. It was the style of music I loved, and I like to think that at that time TJ also felt exactly the same. That my style of vocals would suit the music, so it kind of kicked off from the very beginning, and it's just grown from there. And as a vocalist, from being in 10 Gauge, I feel like I've over the years of being with them, I've improved my style slightly, I've changed my style slightly, and honed in a bit more, with my own unique style, because what I did is I carried a lot of styles that I'd taken bits from various artists that I've done covers of, and I've now honed into my own sound, which is pretty much there now. So I'm you know, and it's made me a better person being in T-Gage as well. So you know, I've actually loved being in the band. You know, it's put me in my happy place again, John. You know.
Yeah, man, that's great.
Yeah.
TJ, what was it about that meeting? What was it about Rob that you saw?
His whole persona, man. I mean, when you're looking for a front man, not just a singer, a front man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He looked the part. He was a great guy. We got on straight away. Obviously, as soon as he started singing, I was just like, yeah, sign here. But he was honest from the outset. He actually came to the first interview, smashed it out of the park. And we ended up with a guy that was, I don't know, it was just so weird. We ended up with someone else because Rob wanted to be in the band, but you know, it's a big commitment, you know, because obviously we're professional, wanting to do things, you know, for a living. He's got a lot of commitment, so he went away, thought about it. The rest of the band were constantly asking me, phone Rob, phone Rob, phone Rob. I was like, listen, I want Rob as well, but you know, it's up to him. And luckily enough,
we can't seem desperate.
Yeah, I mean, well, the other singer was just, it took him like 4 weeks to learn one song. Me and Rob met again by accident because we both worked for my brother as well in the building trade. And I turned up at the job and Rob was there. I was just like, dude, how you doing? And I had rehearsals that night. And I said to him, I said, listen, just come to rehearsals, see how you feel, and we'll go from there. And unfortunately, he hasn't left since. So yeah, no, it was the same thing as what he said. You know, every member that's in the band right now, it was an instant connection. You know, and it's great.
Yeah. Just a point of trivia. You know, I just found out yesterday that Back in Black, because you're wearing a Back in Black T-shirt, was recorded in the Bahamas. And yeah, and right next door while they were recording that, Talking Heads was recording Remain in Light.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, just random. Neil, how about you? How much of what TJ and Rob are saying is bullshit?
All of it. No. To be honest with you, I'm the last one to the party. Well, other than Wes, obviously, bless him. But I knew Rob before he joined T-Gage,
Okay.
and it was just through pure luck that at the time the drummer had left, and the guy saw my YouTube channel that I had going up, and Rob said, I think Rob put me forward for it and said, have a look. And it was a baptism of fire, really, because literally they said, oh, our drummer's left. We've got 2 festivals to do in one day in 2 weeks. Can you learn everything and jump on board?
Yeah.
So I literally learned the set and we went and done it. And it's been great ever since.
Wow.
So that's basically. So that was
nothing like a trial by fire to get started, huh?
I love it. I love the challenge. I love the edge keeps me going.
Are you on the north side of London too, or did you?
Yeah.
Okay. So you all had proximity working for you as well.
That did help. Well, some of the other guys are a bit further out, aren't they? So the Gareth and Keiran are a bit further out, but
I see.
Yeah, but it was amazing.
So under that kind of pressure to learn the set, how easy was it to just get in? It's one thing to learn the tunes, but you have to, figure out how to play with the guys, how you're listening to each other, all of that stuff. What was the chemistry like getting started?
Well, my chemistry literally because I had my studio down at the bottom of my garden. Mm-hmm. The guys came round. I said, look, the easiest way, can we just play together and feel it? And the one thing that was amazing, I don't think the guys gave me that. They played me the songs, but didn't give me the old drummer's drum stuff. They just said, play what you feel.
Oh.
So they kind of gave me license to to put my bit, and you know, for amazing for them just to kind of switch off to what they're used to hearing and let me do my bit. And that's how. So I've never. There's only one song that's called Big Shot that literally I played how the original drummer did because I love the way he done it. But the rest is literally I've never heard their versions. I was just given it and said go for it.
Wow, so, that is cool and bold. So TJ, when you bring a drummer in, and maybe I'm asking selfishly because I'm a drummer and I've been in that spot, is it about artistic license when you give him a track and say, here, play what you feel?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm lucky where it's concerned. I mean, Neil is not only an amazing drummer, he's a lovely guy, and the chemistry was there with him as a person, which helped. Neil's made me a much better musician. I gave him artistic license because he's a great drummer, you know, and I now play off of Neil. You know, I mean, me and Neil got such a connection when we're on stage or in the studio. He's helped me a lot where it comes to understanding, breaking down bits in songs and stuff like that. You know, I didn't want anyone to come in and feel like they couldn't contribute. You know what I mean? We've all been playing our instruments for so long. You know, if you don't like what you're doing or you're not putting across how you feel, you're not going to enjoy it. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure that everyone was getting across how they feel, so they're happy. You know what I mean? I give everyone a basic idea, even Neil. But yeah, they're just so good that it's just the harmony's fantastic. Do you know what I mean?
Wow. Well, the harmony, figuratively speaking, is clearly pretty cool. I when I signed on to the app, you guys were already there, and I didn't jump onto the page for about 3 or 4 minutes. I just kind of sat back and observed you guys cracking wise at each other, and I thought, yeah, this is gonna be fun. This is my kind of band. So
yeah, I think we've been a little bit reserved right now as well. Now we're going live.
So Rob, talk about that chemistry. I'd like to hear from the singer's point of view what the chemistry is in terms of, you know, like when you're playing together and you're doing something. Let's say you're doing a live show. You know, you have a lot to consider, groove and dynamics and stuff like that. What is it about the guys that you like? And let's just, because the other two are not here, let's focus on TJ and Neil. What is it about playing with them that you enjoy?
Do you know what? I mean, I first of all, I want to say what I enjoy about everybody in the band, and that's the fact that we've just got a friendship. It's like a family. It's an extended family, and that's how a band has to be if you're going to get on. You know, you have moments where you have little bickers, but you always get over it, always make up, kiss and make up. But the chemistry is amazing. And the fact that the banter and the fun is always there, it shows when you're on stage. And when you're showing this emotion on stage, it then draws people from the crowd in, and then they absorb that energy that you're bringing out on stage. So for me, and I know you want me to focus on TJ and Neil, but it's everybody, and I like to be very active on stage. You know, I feel like I want to be a presence. I want people to feel the energy, so they really enjoy the show that we put on. You know,
yeah,
and that means me moving around, and I'm interacting with everybody, and everybody interacts back, and that time that we spend in the studios just shines out on a live stage when we're playing, you know, and it's an awesome feeling. And at the end of every single gig, there's always hugs and like gratitude for each other because of how we've played and supported each other up on stage, and that feeling that you get. I mean, if you're in a band or you know you've ever done this live performance and you get a reaction from the crowd like that, there's no better feeling. Absolutely none. And so the energy that you give people, you'll get back in return, and that is the biggest thing you could ever get from playing live. And we are all, and I think this is why it works live as well, we are all from a live background. You know, we're not used to sitting in our rooms playing guitar by ourselves. We've always performed live, we've always played live, we've always been in that kind of environment. So when we all came together individually, it was like a match made in heaven. We gelled. It just worked, and there was no effort, you know. And the hardest thing with being in a band is finding members that have got the same drive, commitment, and the same want. And this is why we've unfortunately we've lost some good people out of the band, but we've gained even better, you know. So and yeah, just can't wait to see how things move forward from here, really.
Yeah. Wes, talk to us about capturing that energy. what is it as the you know, as the guy who's responsible for you know, bottling it up?
Well, I mean, it's about it's about setting a framework, but it's also about letting loose.
Yeah. My question is, how do you keep these bastards contained?
No. It's not about containing them at all.
Clearly,
you know,
Letting them go.
when we were in the studio, we were all living together basically, and it just turned into absolute fucking madness. You know, Rob and I were, because you know, Rob had done all his guide vocals, all the guys were doing all their bits. You know, we had time to pull gags and stuff and freak people out. I mean, Rob loves scaring people. So we did we did shit like that, and it was all about craziness and you know, just having fun and letting go and nothing. If somebody has an idea, let's go for it. Let's try it, however mad, however crazy. You know, and Neil keeps giggling about me going, yeah, that was good, but let's do another take. Which translates to, that was shit, now do it properly.
See if you can get it right this time.
Or can it be a little bit more Dream Theater? And then he goes absolutely off the fucking planet. And I was like, okay, a little bit less Dream Theater. But you know, it is about, because you've got so many different characters in this band. You know, you've got powerhouse that is Rob. You've got, you know, Mr. I'm fucking technical and I'll nail everything on the drums. You've got, you know, TJ, who's a loose fucking cannon, Tasmanian devil. Keiran, who's a little bit more reserved, but just solid kind of growl, and then we've got Stax Gareth, who's just huge fucking bass sound. And it's just all these different characters, and they all need to be captured. So you need to let them run free for a little bit and maybe hone into certain things and just go, right, okay, that's what I need from you, that's what I need from you, and put it all together.
Yeah. Okay. So Neil, let's rewind a little bit. Before you guys all got together, you know, you had accomplishments as a drummer. You are a very technical player. For those of you who are listening who are not familiar with Neil, he does nail stuff. He's got great dynamics, great chops. He's a lot of fun to listen to. Enormous pocket. It's really a lot of great stuff. What did you grow up listening to? What influenced you as a player?
It's actually my brother's. When I started off, I was like pop music. That's the real. And my brother went, no. He brought me to. I know it's terrible, isn't it? Brother got me, like, he was into Yngwie Malmsteen and like there was like extreme and them kind of that kind of genre. So I started getting into that, and then I fell upon this band called Toto, and they were basically, these guys, what they hate it. The Simon Phillips is like my my idol at the time, and that's what I played open hands basically through wrist damage that I had through a bundle with my brother years ago. I had to practice with one hand for a while because he broke my wrist, and then I couldn't larrup the snare drum with my left hand. So I started playing open-handed. So that's why I play open-handed. So and then it just my different drummers like there's Dave Weckl, and then Mike Portnoy and so forth, and obviously Mike Mangini, and these kind of drummers that are just machines, and Virgil Donati. They're amazing drummers, but there's a technical bit that I love the technical side, but I have to know when to rein it in, and that's the bit where it's knowing when to use it and when not to. So
well, you get compliments from the other guys for being a great musician, and usually from when a drummer gets that compliment from a guitar player, it's because you know when to stay out of the way, then you know when to jump in and catch fire, and mostly you know when to stay out of the way.
I think that's the point. Is learning. I learned years ago from that the hard way, and like you say, is that then you know. When your time to shine is, when your time to back off and let the music do what you need to do. So basically, you've got to think of the music first, and later on, if you get your time to show off, then do it there. But try to control yourself.
It's unusual to hear about a drummer and the relationship in the playing with the singer. So talk to us about how you, as a player, support Rob. What is it when you're watching Rob, because he's out there providing the energy and he's running around and he's doing his thing? How do you, as the drummer, see your job supporting Rob?
I don't actually support one person. Like a lot of drummers say, I listen to the bass and lock in with the bass.
Sure.
I try to listen. I try to have the big ears and listen to the whole group and accent where I need to do. And if Rob's doing some nights, like I say, the more we practice, the more we're together, the more you read each other. And like everyone drops a duff note or drop a beat or whatever. It's knowing you're going to pick up, and everyone's going to be right there and know how you're going to do it. And there are times when everyone does it. You do a boo boo, and you're like, and we know how to read it. So that's the main thing. So I try to just make sure I know. I like to read everybody and know where they are. I have to listen to them all. So that's basically, I just take it as a group, a whole obligatory ears, as they say, listen to everything.
Yeah. TJ, how is Neil as a traffic cop?
He's just no comment. He's a nice guy, nice. I'll say the way he does support me and Rob. He drives us to rehearsals. So.
Designated driver.
If it weren't for Neil, I don't think Rob would ever be at a rehearsal.
What?
I'm joking.
No, you're not.
So,
that's rich coming from you, pal.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah.
What about Wes? Because Wes has got to run away here in a few minutes, so I want to talk about him while he's still here.
Yeah.
What was it that really attracted to Wes's work as a producer, and how has his chemistry contributed to your growth as a band?
Wes,
it's Neil's fault.
I've known Wes quite a few years from a previous band.
Right. Blame the drummer. Always blame the drummer.
And basically, when I was brought into the band, and they said we want to do some studio work, I said I know the perfect man for us.
And his work, it wasn't wrong. Wes has been amazing getting across. Not only obviously as the band, but for me personally, getting things out of my head is quite hard at the best of times. So. But working with Wes has been incredible. You know what I mean? He gets exactly like I can walk up to him. We don't even need to say anything. Like, he's great with his eyebrows. Like he's very eyebrowy. And I can walk up to this, and I'll walk up to him and they'll just look at each other and and then all the you know what I mean? He's the sixth member of the band. You know?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he is definitely part of the band, Wes, and Wes gets us. And that's what we love about him so much. He gets us, he gets our energy, he gets where we're coming from, he gets what we want. and he's an awesome guy as well. You know what I mean? To work with, to be mates with, you know, love being around him. So yeah, we're so glad that Neil introduced him to us, and yeah.
What about from a technical side? What do you, Rob, learn from Wes as a singer as you create, within the confines of his production process? What have you learned?
I've learned everything from him, basically. You know, like stuff that I've done before has never been quite as technical and as advanced as where we are now. So every step of the way has been a learning point for me. And to have Wes as a support and a backup in the recording studios and as a friend and having advice, it's just, you can't beat that. You know, for me, I'm still learning. I think I will carry on learning. I never stop learning. And Wes has just taught me a bit of control. He's given me, so I'd had vocal coach in the past, but he'd given me a friend of his number, and I've been using her as a vocal coach, and she's structured a lot of what I do before I do a performance, before I go into a studio environment, because as a vocalist in the studio environment, it's not like one take. Sometimes you have to do various takes. We try different ideas and can put a lot of strain onto your vocal cords. And if you don't warm up and train properly beforehand, and as stupid as I look, and as much as the guys like to take the piss with me doing my yoga stretching and stuff, it's like a process for me. It's just like I've got like this ritual that I will do before performing, which just helps me relax. So my shoulders are relaxed, everything's relaxed, and then if I have to spend all day recording, I've warmed my body up to a point where I can do that, and that's a huge thing for me. Is that warm up to allow my vocals, because my vocals will be so much better and stronger by doing these things. Because I used to just go in raw, like down a couple of glasses of whiskey and just go for it. But that's not the case. You know, you've got to really prepare yourself.
And I've got to say, Rob is amazing in the studio. Rob's amazing live. He's just, he's incredible.
Yeah. What about him? What about him? Do you really enjoy in the process?
Hit a note that would make me want to faint. I'm standing there going, just breathe, please breathe. You know, but no, I mean, he's consistent as well. You know, and that's natural with Rob. You know, it's amazing. He's incredible. He's incredible.
Wes, what have you seen out of these guys that you really enjoy in the production process? As a producer, you've worked with all kinds of artists doing all kinds of different things. What is it you enjoy about these guys so much?
Well, it's just I don't know if the word innocence is right, but there is an innocence about it. It's not trying to be something. Mm-hmm. It's you can hear all the influences, you know, you can hear, you know, all the AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Faith No More, all of Neil's super technical stuff, but it makes for such a, I want to say, unique blend, because, you know, those ingredients not necessarily go together, but somehow this band has brought them all together and turned it into their own thing. So that's always exciting, you know. And there's that thing where I really hate this about record labels. They go like, "Oh yeah, we really like this, but could you make this sound more like that?" And I always go, "Fuck off! We've already got one of those." You know, and to me, 10 Gauge has sort of grabbed all those things of all those various parts of rock and metal that I like, and sort of brought them all together. It's like, wow, this is great. So I really find that exciting and enjoyable. Plus,
as a listener, me too.
Great, you know.
And pants are optional.
Oh, pants are totally optional.
You got need pants.
Yeah. We got a comment on the screen from Joe Shaman. Hand Your Dealt is awesome. It is awesome. Joe knows his way around rock and roll. He's also my business partner, so I'm shouting him out. What's up, Joe?
Hey,
Hey, Joe.
So when you guys are in the studio, which of course, you know, we want to get you back out playing live, back out playing festivals in front of people. But when you're in the studio and you're in the throes of the creative process, it is different from the live environment, but you still manage to create the energy. What is it in the studio that you do to harness the live energy when you're essentially in a room alone?
It's again, Wes, I think, letting us do what we do. I mean, rehearsals, I know it's an old cliche. Practice makes perfect, man. We did rehearse a lot together, you know, and just keeping a rawness, you know. Wes has let us do that, and we just go out and just play it, you know. And that sounds stupid. Obviously, there's more pressure on us getting it right. The red light syndrome, as Wes says. But you know, we've all got each other's backs, and we enjoy it. And I think the enjoyment from everyone is what comes across. You know, I think that's where the energy is. Everyone just enjoys it. Everyone enjoys playing with each other. As soon as we've finished something, we're outside, we're chatting, we're having a laugh. So I think that's genuinely what it is. It's the enjoyment.
Yeah. All
well,
right.
it is about being in the same room together. You know, where everybody can look at each other and vibe of each other.
Yeah.
You know, you take it back to all the old school records that we like and love. You know, those were guys in the same room looking at each other and just taking cues and vibes of each other. So, you know, if you go, oh, let's do the drums by themselves to a click track and then do the bass, it's like there is no connection. If everybody is together and looking at each other and somebody fucks up and you all corpse laughing and take the piss out of each other, and then the next time, bam, you nail it. It just gets onto tape. You know, that's got nothing to do with me or any producer. It's like we're just putting the guys together. We're creating a vehicle that allows for that interaction to happen. You know, and when you put a bunch of great guys together, magic's going to happen.
Oh,
Well said. That's Wes on his way out. He's got a heart out. I'm going to kick you out of here from there because that was a very strong statement. And I'm going to let you walk off the stage after dropping the mic. So, thanks for joining us, Wes. Thanks for putting us together. Thanks for making a great record with these guys. And we'll see you very
Have
soon.
fun, and I'll put my pants back on.
All right. Not necessary, but go ahead.
Catch you later, guys.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us.
You know, Neil, it's not lost on me that you said you had a moment when you discovered Toto, and it's not often that you hear a drummer say, I discovered Toto, and they have this drummer named Simon Phillips. That's like saying, I just heard this band called Van Halen and this bass player Wolfgang.
What it is, it's just when I was a kid, basically, I literally remember Jeff Porcaro thinking this is amazing, and then when he died, you think, who's gonna step in? And at first you're like, I don't like this, but he's an amazing. You know what I mean? You don't like the change. It's always difficult. Like any new member comes to a band, you like how they are, but Simon Phillips took it to it's just amazing. And he's a very musical, technical in a lot of ways as well. He's just an amazing drummer. So that kind of was where my main influence comes from. And then, as believe it or not, like I said, the Dream Theater side of things and that kind of thing is another thing, was because of these guys were coming to. And even though I was not in that area as such, I started to get onto it, and literally, I mean, like I said, I love the jazz, I love the Dave Weckl, and then I've got Greg Bissonette from Age. So there's such a wide variety of, you know, it's I just try to suck it all in and try to emulate everything I can and make my own style out of it. So
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to extend an invitation to you, Neil, because we should just do a show where we could just get nerd out about the drums.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We'll do that. We'll do that another time. While we have the other guys, Rob, let me ask you a question about lyrics, because we're going to, I think, when we get into the studio time and time again, you'll be more involved in telling your story. What are you all about lyrically? What are you writing about? Are you actively writing all the time, or are you taking a break to dedicate yourself to the performance of 10 gauge songs right now?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I mean, I am a very busy man, so a lot of my focus was literally just honing in on 10 gauge and making sure that I can bring the best I can to each song. I am in the process of building my own studio in the back garden. So once that's finished, which will be in the springtime, I'm actively going to be starting to start writing songs again, and kind of get involved with that, and hopefully sort of me, TJ, and the other guys can all come together and we can start working on some stuff together, which will be awesome. It'll be great to maybe put my story across. Like TJ's he writes from the heart, and I think that's where the passion also comes from. Understanding his songs and actually seeing where his heart is and where his thoughts are and what he's trying to get out in his music and stuff is inspirational. So I want to be able to try and incorporate some of that into some of my new music that I write. I've got some ideas. I've got some little things that I'm going to be toying with. I've started to write some lyrics, and some of this stuff is not based upon my own experiences at the minute, although I will be diving into that at some point. It's more that I try and put myself, which is what's helped with singing TJ songs, is I try and put myself into other people's situations and see things through their eyes. So that's kind of where I'm going to be coming from, hopefully in the near future when I'm writing some new songs. And then maybe I'll put some little personal touches into it. Maybe I'll write a song or two, whether or not it would be a 10 gauge song or it will be a personal thing. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. But yeah, that's kind of, I tend to write through the eyes of something else. So yeah, watch this space. Let's see what comes.
Okay. Well, TJ, Rob just paid you a great compliment about your songwriting there. And it seems like you guys had a great match in that he enjoys interpreting somebody else's great message in a way. So I imagine that has been wonderful. As you said, you guys have great chemistry. What have you gotten out of his interpretation? Like somebody else takes your song and does something with it. Have there been moments where you go, man, that was better than I could have imagined?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You can see it in the newer stuff that I now write to Rob's strengths, you know what I mean? And I know what he can do and what he might not want to do and things like that. I do push Rob and he knocks it out of the park every time. But he's definitely allowed my scope to open up where my songwriting is concerned, because I used to obviously write with me screaming it out like a dying cat. But Rob has allowed me to become a better songwriter because I've got an awesome singer, yeah. It's brilliant.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
You're down there.
Well, you've got an AC/DC T-shirt on, and you got a couple of SGs leaning up against the wall back there. How much has AC/DC influenced you, and what other influences do you point to that were heavy on you?
Yeah, I mean AC/DC. They're just brilliant, man. As soon as I saw Angus Young with that guitar when I was about 10 years old, that's the only guitar I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My dad showed me a Les Paul when I was younger, and I was just like, I don't want that. I want that. It's got devil horns. You know what I mean? Yeah, so big. I mean, the riffs and that, the Taty riffs, his performance on stage, you know. But other influences, Mark Tremonti is a massive influence in my newer stuff and going forward. Metallica, obviously, a big influence. Yeah, I mean, just for those two alone, if I'm honest, I don't listen to a massive range of stuff. But as far as a guitarist go, obviously Slash. I know again it's cliche, but guy's a legend, man.
Yeah.
Other than that, I try to when I start writing songs, I tend to stop listening to music because I don't want too much influence from anything. You know what I mean? I try to get something that just falls out. You know, trust me, some of them do sound like they've just fallen out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the rock industry. It's just a brilliant thing to be. You know, the guitar saved me as a person, man. If I didn't have the guitar, I'm boring anyway, but I'd be even more boring.
Nah. Neil, what do you like about DJ songwriting?
I don't know. Basically, every time when we, like, say, last EP, or not like the last EP and the last recordings we've done, he'll just come with an idea, and literally, it's amazing. I feel that you need to be, if a song kind of turns you on to it by listening to it straight away, I feel if it affects me that way, first time out, the chances is it's going to affect other people. You know, it's not saying my ideas is everything, but I mean, like anybody, if they first time they hear it, they think, yeah, I really like that. There is, you know, everyone has growers, and there's other ones that literally grab you straight away. And whenever we go literally listen to them, Rob will tell you the same. We like that. Literally, can we do them 3, them 4? And then that's how we work. I mean, TJ's just, I don't know, it's magical how he does stuff, where it comes from. It is great, yeah, with his songwriting. Don't mean to.
I think they're deaf. I think you're all deaf. I'm honest.
Yeah, you know. But I think you can see that we all have a family thing. We all support each other through the highs, lows, you know, strengths, weaknesses. We all pull each other through where we need it and support it, and I think that's shows in the music as well.
Well, then let me ask you this way: when you started to get familiar with the 10 gauge songs, okay, let's put that first gig, because you were under pressure to learn all the stuff for the first gig. But when you began to make the music yours and really start to inject your contributions, as you began to do that, what was it about as you get into the songs? Where did you go, oh, I know what I have that's magic about this? Where were the moments where you thought, here's why I'm the right guy for this job?
To be honest with you, the first time when they came round to mine and said, look, can we just go through the songs? And I recorded plug them all in, and we record literally the rehearsals. So I can hear back to what works, what doesn't, what I feel's right, where if you've overplayed, underplayed and whatever. And just hearing them guys respond, I've still got the recordings now. Hearing when they said, that's what we want, this is great. And I was, you get the buzz because you're like, wow, that you're feeding off each other. There's a song that we done called Your Own Flood, and there's right at the beginning, the guitar starts and the drum fill comes in, and I've done some cocky drum fill, and Rob went woohoo! He literally loved it. So much so that in the track we had to do that in the track just because it. And that's basically, that wasn't the original recording, but that came from the first time I ever started that song. And the fact that I fed from the way they were playing, and yeah, it's just a two-way thing.
So if it feels right for us, we're hoping it's going to feel good for everybody else.
Yeah.
I was going to say that when Neil, read that response from everybody when he played that fill, it was kind of the same response that he had when you showed us, Rob, that you weren't wearing any pants. So tell us what happens next for you guys. I know that there's, we're all waiting for live music to come back. And as soon as that does, then plans change. But for right now, what's on the slate for you guys?
More recordings, man. I've dusted off some other songs. I've finished off another 5 tracks in the past couple of weeks. Moving forward, so yeah, I mean, while we're like this, we've got the 3 tracks that are being released. We've got I'm Broken, which is out, I think, on the 20th of February, if I'm right, Neil, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, obviously, we've got the other 2 tracks, Judgment Day and Demons. Demons is a gnarly song. I can't wait for you guys to hear that. But yeah, we're going to just sort of capitalize on this downtime, you know, like as far as gigging goes, and get in there and do some more recordings, because it's a fine balance, really. While we were gigging, you want to gig, and you sort of find it hard to find the time or the balance between gigging and recording, or, you know what I mean? But now we've got the time to record. So Wes has got a studio that he's doing up in Belgium. So I'll try and head out there as soon as lockdown's over.
Yeah.
And get some more tracks down, man. The great thing with these guys, we can record so many tracks, you know what I mean? Because they're just so professional. Like I said, you know, it's easy. And I think we recorded 6 tracks at Mono in a week, you know what I mean? Like, and they came out brilliantly. So recording, really, mate, and pushing it forward, and just trying to keep the word out there, dude.
Wow. Hey, Rob, how would you feel about recording a live album? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, man. I'll be up for that. Definitely be up for that. I think this is, you know, we come from a live background. You know, like I said before, you know, we weren't the type, although we spent a lot of time around, we tried to spend as much time with others and playing live. So I think, you know, that will just show people what we're about, show people the energy that we've got. And that would work for me. I'd love to do that. We've done live stuff, myself and TJ. We've done, you know, sort of live performances for you know, acoustic. So we've shown another side of just the rock side of it. You know, we can do the acoustic side, and some of our own songs with a cover song to give people an idea what we're about. So yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah, all right.
You streamed some live ones as well. We streamed some live streams. So
yeah. Okay. I applaud. I mean, as you guys are a live act, you fear no situation. So I appreciate that. Who comes up with concepts for videos?
Yeah, we all put a lot of effort into it, don't we? You know, we've all got kind of an idea. As long as we know what the song's about, we try and drive the song towards what it's about and try and give the right picture of what we're trying to tell, the story that we're trying to tell, the story that, you know, TJ's got and he's given to the world. So that's kind of where we're at with it. So it's fairly easy to come up with a video, to be honest with you, because of that. We all play around with creative ideas. We all bounce about ideas, and the whole thing of being a family and a group is that everything goes through everybody. We let everyone have their own input, and then we collate the best we can out of what we've got together to create what we hope is going to be what you guys are going to enjoy. Yeah.
Okay. You know, as we close this thing out, I want to ask each one of you, and I want you to answer, you know, each individually. Who is the 10 gauge fan? If you have to make the quintessential, and I know they run the gamut because you guys have a variety of experience. You play a lot of different, you encompass a lot of different styles in how hard you rock. But who is the 10 gauge fan? TJ, let's start with you.
What a great question, John.
Come on. You answer it first, TJ.
The 10 gauge fan is someone that just likes rock. You know what I mean? It's not a metalhead. It's not an indie. If you like rock, you're gonna like 10 gauge, man.
Yeah. Rob?
Don't use my
For me, a 10 gauge fan is, you know, we're real. We're just putting real music out there. We're putting feeling out there, and a 10 gauge fan is someone that can relate to what the story we're trying to tell. You know, if they can make it something that's personal to them, that may help them through a bad time, or just might make them feel good, that's a 10 gauge fan. You know, it's about enjoying music and just being yourself.
Okay. Neil?
You leave me to last to try and think what they have.
I know. You know what? Those are two tough answers to follow.
I just think if you love live music and like to be entertained, because these two guys, obviously our other Stacks and Keiran do as well. They're amazing, but TJ is just amazing, and Rob just brings it every time. It's just literally. The women love him as well, bless him. So he entertains them. Yeah, no, it's good. It's I'm trying to think of the best. Yeah, just live energy. If you're into live energy, that'll make the perfect 10 gauge fan.
If you're a Toto fan, you're gonna love us.
Yeah, right. You know what? I'll tell you.
I got one question. Has any of you ever shot a 10 gauge shotgun?
No, I really would love to.
I've shot a 12 gauge, not a 10 gauge.
Wow.
Yeah, we got to fix that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll be right over.
Definitely.
You know what? So Rob, since you're center screen right now, I'll tell you, I really enjoyed that last answer. It's clear why you are the front man. Like Neil, I am a big-headed drummer. So we do appreciate when the guy out front can articulate an answer and also bring the ladies. So thank you for that. TJ, I also want to say
he's going to kill me for saying that.
Yeah.
Lewis will beat your ass, Neil.
Yeah. Sorry.
I mean,
TJ,
man, look at him.
Yeah. Your songwriting plays right into your answer and Rob's too, in that, when you have somebody who can grab a message and relate to it in whatever way, because I know there are a lot of people who, as I listen to your songs, I think, man, there are a lot of people going through something, not even the same thing, just something, who can latch onto this song and really feel it. So I appreciate that. And Neil, as a drummer, I appreciate your technical prowess. I appreciate your feel. Probably more than anything, I appreciate your feel, your dynamics, the way that you interact, and the way that you lay a roadmap for these guys so they can do what they do. I am a new but enormous 10 gauge fan, so I'm going to point everybody to 10gauge.co.uk. And if you Google it, even if you spell it wrong, you Google 10 gauge band, it will bring you there. So go there, buy stuff, listen to stuff. Enjoy it, love it, support it, and thank you guys for rocking hard, and thank you for coming on the Break It Down show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Right on.
All right, stand by for 1 sec here.
Hey, thanks for watching the show. I really appreciate it. Right here, you can subscribe. Please do that. It makes the show grow. Hit that notification bell so you know which incredible guest is coming up next. Down below is the PayPal link. You can put a small subscription in. That is an enormous help. All that money goes right back into the show. And then right up over here are the next episodes you should listen to, curated by yours truly. Thank you so much for watching.